What's up, guys? Shuri here, and today I have some awesome footage from the new 5v5 server, thanks to Myron. If you would like to watch his full stream where he does this for like an hour, definitely go below and I'll have that linked in the description. But for now, we are going to go over some of the characters and what their new abilities are. So the one thing that Christina does is jumps in the air really high and drops a bomb below them. And as you can see, whichever direction you're moving in, it actually does affect how far you go. If you're standing still, it actually just shins you straight up in the air. And basically, it's just a normal Christina with that little extra bonus of having that extra mobility, and you can use it to get yourself into really cool places like he's going to do here. He's going to jump up, drop a bomb behind him, and get on top of the map, and then have that high ground positioning. He is playing insane bots, so they will kill you very quickly, though. That is the problem. But mid-game in 5v5, you can change your character. And that is going to allow you to be able to do a lot of interesting comps, and the other team can't really pigeonhole you into knowing what you're playing, and it's something that you can counter in the middle of games. But as you can see, Myron is just having fun shooting all the bullets. It is an Asian test server, so it is going to be laggy. Even when he's playing with all bots, it's still not going to be perfect. Either way, they do go in there and just do their best to kind of show off what the different characters can do. Rafa joins a little later to give it a little more competition, but as you can see, the Jabali does some special moves too. But the special move that this guy has is it ends up blocking damage, and it kind of deflects it, and it is something that's a little neat. It's only defensive. It does not actually do any damage itself. As you can see right here, it is blocking the damage from the Christina, and then as soon as the thing's up, he just shoots him in the face 4 times and kills him pretty much instantly. That is the one cool thing is you have enough bullets to one-shot everybody, and as long as you're hitting those headshots up close, you will get that kill. So next character we're going to try is going to be the Aletta. And Aletta's double jump works a little weird, so it actually requires you to take a little bit of extra time to get the double jump off. So he actually thought he didn't have double jump in this game. He figured out later that he did. But either way, he is using double dash, which is a new thing, I guess. And its very special ability is to take you back in time and then keep you at the health you were when you first started. If any of you have ever played Apex Legends, it's kind of similar to the ability Fade has, where he can just take himself back in time like 10 seconds or however long it is. But in this case, it will take your health back to exactly what it was as well. So you can get yourself to no health, kind of get yourself jump back in time, and you can dash back in, full health, ready to go. You've already wasted some of their abilities and damage, and it'll just kind of throw people off. It's a really cool ability, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun on Aletta. I know that Myron sure did seem to have fun with it, but one thing is Aletta's damage is a little bit less with its critical strike damage. They said they would nerf that, and it does seem to affect Aletta quite a bit. But apparently its decoy bomb does a little bit of extra damage. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is something that's going to be interesting. So what we have for Ya is a shield that deflects damage, and I think it even reflects it into the other team. Not 100% sure on that, but again, remember these servers are a little laggy, so he will get jumped back and have a little bit of rubber banding effect on some of his characters. Ya is definitely one of them. But as you can see, Ya is doing an insane amount of damage, but then you have Fort, who does a ton of damage as well. Can take a ton of damage. But either way, it is looking like Ya's going to be one of my favorites and one that I will use a lot. He did some pretty cool stuff with it in the short amount of time he played with it, doing basically just going in there, doing damage, and trying to reflect a lot of it. He even comboed it with his ultimate, which was something that was really cool, shooting your ult and then reflecting some damage. I'll show that in a little bit. But right here, he pops it a little too early, and it doesn't really reflect very much damage. Kind of a wasted ult. You do have to be careful with that, from what I can see, is you really need to make sure they're already shooting you and in the full swing of things when you pop it. Otherwise, they can just wait it out out pretty easily. It doesn't last that long, so it's not that hard to get rid of. But this is the really cool thing I was talking about earlier. He pops his ult and then hits his reflection shield in the middle of it, and then continues to do his ult, so you can use that ability in the middle of your ult, but the ult does not stop or go away, which I think is really cool. And then he is able to take out the Christina and then just dies like 3 seconds later, because like I said, it is a Chinese test server, so there is a little bit of lag. One really cool thing is Mark. Mark has this hoverboard, which at first seemed really unimpressive, but then I realized, wait a minute, this thing's actually super cool. So it can't go backwards, it can only go forwards, and it goes a little faster over time, giving Mark the mobility he really needs. And once he started jumping around on it, it started being really cool, and the places he could kind of get to, and the little movement tricks he could do, with it just being the first time he had ever tried it, were really neat, and something that I'm really excited about doing myself. So he's basically just going and shooting all the insane pots in the middle, because their programming, I guess, just says, hey, take the hill. Kind of wish my teammates would do that, but whatever. And as he's showing, you can't reload on the board, but you can get places so fast that you can flank and do a lot of really cool stuff with Mark that you just couldn't do before. And it kind of almost makes him a flanker and not a DPS, which is something that is just going to be really neat and bring a really nice dynamic sense to Mark that he's been missing. And his main complaints from most people are not being able to get into the range they need to use him, because he's really good in that medium range, but he's very bad at a distance. So getting in there quickly before you can really get shot and killed is something that a lot of people are going to be interested in using, and I think it's a great addition to Mark, and something that, I mean, heck, I'd be even cool with this in 3v3, but it is going to make it a little overpowered, so probably best to keep it in 5v5, but as you can see, he's just jumping around, being able to go on different little techniques and parts of the map that you can't do without that hoverboard. So something really interesting and neat that he put together there. And we are just seeing normal Mark stuff. I think the damage is the exact same, and it's just kind of the normal character. So Scotty is different though. It actually can go forward and do these weird little front flips and stuff, which is something interesting, and it can really get put together with the web to kind of get you into different spots that I thought was really cool. And as you can see, Rafa is in the game now, trying to help out, make the games a little more interesting, and you can see that he is just using Scotty like really nicely, and using its ability to get into really good positioning quickly and get away from people. It's really neat. I don't know if it does damage when it goes into people, or if it's just kind of a somersault to get you in and out of places. But either way, it did look really cool, and I think will be a welcome addition to Scotty. And as you can see here, when he gets in a fight with Rafa, he uses his web to get back, and then he uses a somersault to go back even further and try to get out of there with absolutely no health, going in, getting a heal, and then just trying to help his team get back in this fight. So basically, it's just normal old Scotty, nice web stuff, everything's pretty fun about it, and then you just have a really strong ult, and then you have the somersault, which can get you into positioning, and then do what he's doing here, where he just gets behind people, kind of webs them, just does his thing, and he can use that just to get around the map a lot quicker. I like it a lot. I think it's something that looks really cool, and he makes a lot of really neat plays with it, like especially when he somersaults and then he does the web, and it kind of gets him out of danger that he gets in, that just by being up close to people. It's something that's really neat, and it can work a lot in your favor to be able to get up close to people like he's going to do here, and just kind of get in and then be able to kill people, and then get out by doing the somersault back and then webbing from that victor. Something really cool, and I like it a lot. So next up is the coolest change by far, in my opinion, which is the Iris. And this thing can shoot one bullet at a time, doing a ton of damage, and its heal now can go on enemies, which makes them take damage. I'm assuming the same as you heal. But either way, this is one of the funnier moments of the stream, so I'll let Myron take it for a little bit.
Robot thing. Hey, yo! Back off! Oh yeah, Iris does some damage now with this one shot. I'm getting focused! Get off! I almost got my ult.
Again, guys, I will link the stream below. Very funny stuff. And really good look on all of the different stuff. He does go for about an hour, so I'm just going for each character just a little bit. But if you want some more in-depth stuff and Myron's professional player opinion on these things, definitely go watch that stream. And right here, this makes Fort look really, really scary to be on the other team. Because in 5v5, you're going to have people grouped up a lot, and the fact that he can do this AoE damage and just burst down the entire team so quickly is really nice. And I think it's going to be super annoying for anyone who has to play against this. I know that I would not want to have to do this. This is crazy. But either way, it does work pretty well, and he's just playing back, sniping with Fort. But it is working out. His shield is a little bit higher than normal, with nearly 17,000 shield. It's a lot better, and it is going to be higher just because of the simple fact that in 5v5, all the shielded characters are higher. I think Jabali's is like 28,000, so it makes sense they would make it higher as well. Right here, you're seeing that the Jabali is having a little bit of trouble against Fort. Jabali no longer has crazy ammo like it used to, so it is a lot harder to use. And then Myron ended up going back and trying to use Aletta. Remember, you can change characters mid-game. It does reset your ultimate, so you can't get an ultimate on one character and then go to the other. But this is where he figured out you can double jump. It just takes a little bit longer, and it is kind of annoying, especially if you're used to just normal double jump on Aletta. But sadly, Rafa was on Osus and just absolutely outplayed Myron. I mean, it was embarrassing. Just so embarrassing. But then he went on to Osus so he could embarrass everyone. But basically, he tried to jump up in the air and the game just completely broke. But he does go ahead and get the kill on the Fort, and he keeps going. So basically, everything's the same on the Osus, except for the fact that you can do this cool thing where you jump in the air, and that is going to create some really interesting stuff. Right here, he's rubber banding all over the place, and if you jump first, you can get all the way up into the top of Red Building, which is definitely an interesting part of Osus on this map now. And remember, guys, this is the Chinese test server for the beta. It is not going to be this bad and laggy in normal mode. It's just an NA player on Chinese server is rough no matter what. So they are going to go to Jabali now, and Jabali now has this thing that shoots out that gives him the ability to have long range damage, and it's really weird that apparently he only has 4 bullets now, and if you hit fire, you have to shoot the entire clip, and then you got to reload. It does a lot of damage, which is nice, but it also is super annoying that if you hit fire, you have to fire the entire thing. It does fire very quickly and does enough damage to where, like, I think this could be a real problem for people, but it also has less range than the old version. As you can see, he's having a lot of trouble with not realizing how much range he has, but once he can get in close to people, then he can start to do a lot of damage. As you can see, the Yaw melting very quickly. It is a big problem for that Yaw, and the Yaw ends up dying. So it is a really good attack, it's just it has very few bullets, and it is going to be a little hard to control and get used to the fact that it has less range than normal Jabali does. So definitely something that will take getting used to, especially if you already are a Jabali main. Having like 100 ammo normally and going down to 4 is going to be a big difference. And then the range is just going to be basically an entirely different character. That being said, it is going to be super interesting to see how much this shield holds up against 5 people. Because, I'm not going to lie to you, I think it's going to hold up very well. Because 33,600 is a lot. And then if you have the second ultimate, which will do Reflection Shield and then give you a brand new one, that is 67,000 damage people are going to have to do to the Jabali shield back to back. And that's going to be very rough. But guys, if you want more information on this, click the link right there to go to Myron's video. It is an hour long and goes over everything in much better detail, and you can get the opinion from the world's best player.